The following is a presentation of TNT Sports.
It was the most dramatic night of playoff action yet. Tuesday night, faced with the prospect of a three-game sweep, New Jersey rallied from 10 down in the fourth and stunned the Cavaliers. Now it's Cleveland 2-1. And in Los Angeles, the Clipper franchise posted its first playoff win in exactly 16 years, a 10-point decision over Utah. Larry Brown's troops try to pull even Thursday. Here on TNT last night, high drama at the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Ewing, the outguard, it goes, and we are knotted up at 79 apiece.
In OT, the Knicks forged a lead, and Detroit came up empty. For Mark Jackson and company, it was something to shout about. In Seattle, the Sonics' Shawn Kemp, spectacular.
This is Gary Payton. Payton allowed to Kemp for the jam.
Kemp scored the Sonics' last 9 points, putting Golden State in desperate straits.
Mullen passes to Marcianonis and hits it away short. Sonics lead it 2 games to 1.
Tonight, how much more can you take? Huge night for Kevin Lockery and the Heat. For the first time ever, Miami serves as a playoff host. Chicago looks to spoil the evening as Michael and the Bulls think sweep in South Florida. And in Los Angeles, the Lakers, reeling from 2 blowouts in Portland, hope to derail that Blazer Express one time. Playoff pressure so real, you can almost feel it. Still cannot believe that dunk by Kemp. Good evening, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Welcome to another doubleheader playoff night on TNT. Miami Arena is going to be rocking as the Heat and the Bulls meet in Game 3, and then it's the Blazers and Lakers from the Great Western Forum. And joining us again tonight, Atlanta Hawks head coach Bob Weiss. The Bulls, a big favorite, but for Kevin Lockery, your old assistant, this is going to be a night he never forgets, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. First expansion team to make it into the playoffs. That place is going to be rocking. They've got some talent, and these fans are going to be turned on. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave the Bulls a good game.
The Lakers and the Blazers. L.A. with a lot of pride, but I don't think that carries you in this series.
Pride will carry you to a point. I think they've about reached that point, and I don't see them going past 2 more games.
Also tonight here on TNT, bonus coverage of Phoenix and San Antonio. The Spurs without the Admiral, without Willie Anderson, without Rod Strickland, without a chance, it would appear, but we'll see as we bring you bonus coverage later tonight. But right now, settle back and watch the doubleheader. Chicago and Miami, our first game, followed by Portland and the Lakers on TNT.
Historic evening at the Miami Arena. In just 4 seasons, Miami has gone from an expansion team to a playoff team. And tonight, for the first time in history, a state that has had Super Bowls, golf tournaments, tennis tournaments, spring training, and hurricane football will host an NBA playoff game. Hello, I'm Craig Sager. The sellout crowd is 15,008, but the demand in tickets has been so large that some seats have gone for over 10 times their face value. This is my ticket. It is also your ticket. And I invite you to join me as we go inside the Miami Arena, where the Heat logo, flaming basketballs, burning nets, and the hottest ticket around all indicate that the Heat is on.
Along with Dick Versace, this is Bob Neal from the Miami Arena. Tonight, 15,008 fans, 15,008 noisemakers, and an expansion team take on the Chicago Bulls. It was only 4 years ago that this team lost 17 games in a row. Then they won 15 games, 18 games, 24 games. This year, 38. They made the playoffs. This reminds me a little of being in Italy a couple of summers ago for televising the World Cup. The excitement in Miami is like an international sporting event going on. And Dick Versace, is it going to carry over to this team? Is it going to be to help them? They're down 2-0 here. How about coming home to play?
Bob, it absolutely has to carry over. This Miami Heat team has a better home record than the Detroit Pistons in the Palace. What they've got to do is they've got to feed off the energy that they're going to get from this crowd. And maybe the Clickers. But if they don't, they are not going to be able to get out of here with a respectable showing. They also need to have Len Rice or somebody step up from the inside.
Now, the Chicago defense is so good. It's why they've won so many games. They call it unleashing the Dobermans. How does Miami respond to that?
Well, I think they should start climbing the fences as quickly as they can, because when you put Horace Grant, Michael Jordan, and Scottie Pippen after you defensively, it is one of the most awesome spectacles. They create turnovers. They had a record-setting 15 turnovers in the last game. Kevin Lockery, Bob, has got to do something about this.
Michael Jordan, everybody was wondering if Michael Jordan would play golf when he was down here in Miami. I asked him as they warmed up, he said, no, wish I had. I said, will you play? He says, I can't. We're going home first thing in the morning. Well, not if the heat has anything to do about it. We'll be back for the tip-off and the starting lineups right after this. They call it the Big A, the Miami Arena. 15,008 fans, the first playoff game in this franchise's history. They love the Heat. It doesn't quite have the same ring as the Bulls. Let's have a look at the starting lineup presented by Jeep Eagle. Bulls on the left with Pippen, Grant, Cartwright, Paxson, and Jordan. Rice and Long, Cycli in the middle, Shaw and Smith. We talked, Dick, about that matchup between particularly Pippen and Rice. Any other important one there early in this ballgame?
Well, I don't think there's any one more important than the Rice-Pippen matchup. If there is, it might be a tendency of Ronnie Cycli in the first two games not to express himself. He really, Bob, needs to get after it offensively. Challenge whoever is guarding him. If it's Cartwright, he should use his quickness. If it's Will Perdue, he should take him out on the court, take him off the dribble. If it's somebody like Horace Grant inside, he should use his size. But he's got to really look at the basket tonight.
Ronnie Cycli under a lot of pressure as the Miami Heat, with a history-making first playoff game at home. Michael Jordan is averaging nearly 40 points a game in this series. We are underway, the Heat with the ball. Steve Smith, the point guard. Brian Shaw came in the trade from Boston for Sherman Douglas. Looking for Rice on the baseline. 2-0 Miami.
Well, that's what they have to have, Bob. They have to have a good start and a big night from Glenn Rice.
Scottie Pippen being defended by Rice. Have the switch now, the mismatch. Pippen hard to the hoop. It's tied at 2. Backcourt pressure from Michael Jordan. See Steve Smith, just a rookie, only played 61 games this year. That was Long, Grant Long from Eastern Michigan in his 4th year, and it's 4-2. This team shoots much better at home. One of the keys to the game, according to Kevin Lockery, is a good shooting performance. Jordan's pass intercepted. Brian Shaw, the lob, the jam!
Well, there's no excuse. Chicago could have easily gotten back. Jordan got back, protected the basket. Nobody helped him.
Well, this crowd's in love with the team at the moment, but these are the Bulls. Michael Jordan pulls up and misses. Rebound, Cycli. 6-2 Miami. Miami had a good first half in the opening game at Chicago. That was for 3. Jordan with the rebound, averaging 12 a game.
See, Ronnie Cycli right now is way behind the ball. He's got to get ahead of the ball.
Jordan with the easy no-look lob to Grant.
I think
Grant
Ron,
with the lay-in.
Excuse me, Bobby. I think Ron Cycli's got a little bit of the jitters here.
Miami. First 2 minutes of the first playoff game of this expansion franchise at home. Brian Shaw threw up a prayer, and Chicago with a chance to tie.
Oh, they need better shots than that.
John Paxson looking for Cartwright against Cycli. Grant Long doing a good job in the middle, and the turnover from Cartwright. It's 3-on-2. The no-look. Long missing. Rebound, Jordan.
Again, Cycli, 15, 20 feet behind the ball on a missed shot. He's got to get back and make sure that the Bulls play 5-on-5. If you get in a transition game with Chicago, you're in big-time trouble.
Rice with his first personal foul of the ball game. And Pippen goes to the line. 20 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists for Pippen. They call them Bulls 1 and 1A, Jordan and Pippen.
Well, you know, Michael Jordan right now is at a perfect crossroads between the boundless energy of youth and the hard-won wisdom of age. And that spells trouble for all his opponents in the next 4 years.
The roar of the crowd deafening already in the first 3 minutes of this ballgame. 6-5, Miami by 1. Here's that full court pressure now.
See, what they do is they leave the big man to bring it up. Kevin would like to have Brian Shaw bring the ball up, but they overplay him, and it forces. Look at the shot clock. Haven't made an entry pass. Shot clock is at 11.
Down to 8 now. Smith. 6 seconds, and they're just now getting to the offense. 4, 3. Smith from long range. He drains it. That's a 3.
You gotta like this rookie. Led all NBA rookies in assists this year. Had a very difficult year. Lost his mom, a tragic thing. Had major surgery. We see the steal.
3-on-1. Rice from Brian Shaw. It is 11-5, Miami. The crowd now feeding on the team and vice versa. Paxson from 19. Brian Shaw led his college team in rebounding. Rice, good move past Pippen. Offensive board for Rice.
Wonderful second effort.
Recycling. Stripped by Michael Jordan. From 17. Rebound cycling. Heat by 6. Electric atmosphere here.
Well, one of the things I saw in game 1, Bob, was that the Bulls came out tentative. They had a little bit of swagger on the countenances, and they were not ready to play. And that looks like the same countenance tonight.
3 seconds on the shot clock. 2, Cycling from the baseline. Ronnie Cycling, you're right, Dick Versace, starting very tentative here tonight. Inside to Grant. Blocked by Cycling. Maybe that'll loosen him up.
Well, that's where he needs to be. He's the biggest guy that they have. He's their best big man. He needs to be down inside protecting. Ball goes inside. Little scramble by Brian Shaw, but Ronnie Cycling comes over and helps out. That's exactly what he has to do.
10 on the shot clock. Pippen spin move off the glass. Cartwright, big board. And the foul. The Bulls are now 2 of 8 shooting the ball to open this ball game.
Well, I'm looking over at the face of Phil Jackson. I know that face because I've made that face. And that face is a face saying, we are not ready to play. I hope we can weather this. We got to get through it. I certainly don't like the shot selection, and I'm very disappointed in the energy level.
Grant Long picked up the first foul for him in this ball game. Cartwright shoots a brick. You know, I think the loudest stadium in the NBA is Chicago Stadium. This, at this point here in Miami, rivals the noise in Chicago.
I hated to play here. I didn't like it here. I always thought the weather was a big distraction. And then when you got here, this Miami Heat team always fed off the crowd. And no matter what you said to your guys, you couldn't make them believe it wasn't going to be an easy game because it was an expansion team.
Bulls only 1 of 4 from the free throw line. Steve Smith off the wing. It's 13-5.
Bill Jackson wants to talk about this. I guarantee you. Guarantee you.
It's a 7-0 Miami run. Listen to this crowd.
Well, it is Clacker night in Miami. It shows how far this franchise has come. 4 years ago when they lost 17 in a row, it's Fly Sweater night. Fly Sweater night to swat the Hornets. It didn't work. Everybody threw those down on the court after the game. You also don't see any brooms in this arena. Let's go back to Bob and Dick.
And Dick, let's talk about 2 steals early in the ball game here. Steve Smith in the circle.
Well, let's see why this steal developed. Let's watch John Paxson as he goes through. He takes a cut as the ball is attempted to go through the post, but Steve Smith doesn't go for the cut, plays the steal all the way, ends up in a nice, easy transition basket off the steal. Very difficult to stop the transition baskets in the NBA when the opposing team gets a steal.
It's been a minute 51 since Chicago has scored. Heat on a 7-0 run. Chicago shooting 2 for 8. Heat 6 for 11. Pippen.
Nice rhythm jumper. Settle him down.
There's that pressure in the backcourt. Brian Shaw helping Steve Smith. All alone, Long off the glass. Grant Long. He has 6 points.
See, that's not typical of the Chicago defense. Normally when you come into the lane, there's as many people as the Chinese army coming after you. And it wasn't the case. Unmolested inside shot.
Grant punched away by Long. Horace Grant. Cycling with the rebound. That's his 3rd. Cycling with 3 rebounds and a blocked shot early in the game. Glenn Rice being smothered by Scottie Pippen. Smith takes the shot to Paxson. We have a 3-on-2. Now Jordan coming. Paxson with a miss. Pippen runs it down. Cycle's 4th rebound. Brian Shaw from 19.
Well, if Brian Shaw comes alive, he's had a difficult year. The Italy, the Boston, the Italy, the trade, back here. It's been difficult adjustment for him. If he can get his feelings such that he's so comfortable here, he can help this team tremendously.
Pippen against Rice having his way early, but not able to get him, knock it down. Another turnover. It was Brian Shaw with aid from Grant Long. Into Cycling, stripped away by Pippen. Foul on Chicago, no basket.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a terrific pass. Anytime that the player can make the pass prior to the color guy seeing it or the coach seeing it, that's an excellent pass.
Miami 11-2 in the last 3 minutes. Kevin Lockery said it is unbelievable, in his view, what this franchise has accomplished this year. 10-point lead, 17-7, 5:13 to go first quarter. Very patient with the offense. Long got inside of Pippen with the lay-in.
Bill Cartwright standing on the other side of the basket. Even if he has to take a foul, he has to come across the lane and challenge.
Long is 4 out of 5. 10 on the shot clock for the Bulls. Right against Cycling. 6 on the shot clock. Cycling knocks it loose. 3, 2. Another steal. That's the 3rd steal. It was Grant Long. Smith trying to post up Paxson. Count it, and he'll go to the line.
This is a wonderful rookie. This is a guy that has a brilliant future in this league.
Paxson's 2nd personal foul.
This was a matchup they tried to exploit in game 1. Not much success. Off to a fine start in game 3.
21-7, the Heat tripling the score of the Bulls early. They've held the Bulls to 7 points so far. Blocked by Cycling, but counted as a goaltend. My guess is you would say if you're his coach, but that's okay.
You see, Kevin Lockery likes the effort. He likes the fact that they came across to help defensively. The same kind of thing the Chicago Bulls are not doing.
Well, he said this team shoots better at home, I would say. Shooting 60% at the moment. 13 on the shot clock. Glenn Rice. The loose ball to Brian Shaw. Everything going Miami.
Well, they can have those kinds of nights here. They're just going to have to sustain this giddiness right now. The phenomenal shooting percentage is something that's not going to last.
Cartwright trying to look down for a baseline screen. Good defense by Miami. Cartwright over Cycling. Got a piece of that. Scottie Pippen with the rebound. Only 4 seconds remained on the shot clock. For Chicago, Pippen has 7, Grant 4. Jordan has yet to scratch. 10 on the shot clock for the Heat. 7. Rice for 3. doing it.
Oh, Bob, that's way too long a look for Glenn Rice. You cannot give him that long a look. You must get up into his chest and make him put the ball down on the floor.
Pippen trying to beat Smith off the dribble. Cycli with the block. That's his second block. 3 if you count the one that was called goaltending. Now Cycli hard to the hoop. He draws the foul. Gone is the tentativeness.
Well, that's exactly what we talked about in the open, the aggressiveness of Ronnie Cycli. He's got to continue to do that, not only on the offensive end, Bob, but he's also got to make sure that he gets back in transition. That's a rock group.
Stay tuned right after this one.
Rockin' UB.
The Portland Trailblazers looking to sweep L.A. Chicago trying to do likewise here tonight at Miami, but so far the Heat at 67% having nothing to do
well,
with it.
Well, the Bulls are ice cold. I don't like the shot selection. I don't think Phil Jackson likes it. It's getting a little bit better. They seem to be very tentative. They seem to be very cautious. Jordan has only taken 2 shots. Look out. Something's going to happen. He's averaging 39 in this series. So I just think that, you know, you just get this impending feeling of doom or the explosion going to come. But I have seen this Miami Heat team, Bob, feed off this crowd for 4 quarters. I've seen them do it into triple overtime.
The Bulls' low points for a quarter this year, by the way, is 15, and their lowest first quarter output on the year is 20. And here we have 2:43 to go in the first quarter. The Bulls have just scratched double figures with 11.
Well, you know, Phil Jackson has said that his bench is sort of like sub du jour, in that he goes and picks out whoever he wants. He doesn't have a normal rotation. And right now he's got Scott Williams in there. He's got B.J. Armstrong. He'd like to see something develop.
That was illegal defense on Cycli. First one's a warning. New shot clock inbound by the Bulls. Jordan, 0 for 2, has not scored. Pippen with a major league jam.
Well, Scottie Pippen is a 200% three-point shooter, Bob. I'd back right off of him and let him take a couple of threes.
Shaw from long range. Knocks it down. Shaw, 6 points, 3 of 4. Jordan, 0 for 3. Scott Williams into the ball game for Chicago, along with B.J. Armstrong. Jordan over Brian Shaw, and Michael is now 1 for 4. His first points of the game.
I think that was a good way for Brian Shaw to play him. Back off, make him hit a couple of those out there. You certainly don't want him inspiring his own team with those unbelievable, wonderful dunks.
I was going to say the weakness of Jordan is his outside jumper. Let's say it's his least strong point. Cycli underhanded, and he goes to the line.
Oh, that was a wonderful drop step move by Ronnie Cycli. Fakes the middle, drops the right foot back, seals the defensive player, and finishes off the glass. Takes the foul, goes to the free throw line. Kevin Lockery said he wanted to see his team get to the free throw line many more times this game.
Scott Williams picked up the personal. Cycli with 4 and looking for more. Minute 27 to go in the quarter.
Small wonder he wants to do that. I always feel that free throw shooting is basketball's hidden way to score. You should go into the game saying you want to get 35 opportunities.
B.J. Armstrong looking for Jordan, posting up Brian Shaw. Shaw and Jordan, same height. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Pippen gets inside. He now has 11. 33-17. Minute to go in the quarter. The most points that have been scored against the Bulls this year in the quarter has been 38. Miami challenging that here with 33. Bad pass from Cycli. B.J. Armstrong to Pippen. Jordan down here too. The lob broken up. Rice stripped it away. Williams with it. 42 seconds in the quarter. Jordan with the shovel pass on the baseline. 10 on the clock. It won't go for Pippen. Brian Shaw. Rice. Rebound goes to B.J. Armstrong. The Bulls have it 3-on-2. Armstrong from 15. Bulls 19, Heat 33, 17 seconds to go in the quarter.
Phil Jackson wants that defense extended. He wants to try to eat up most of this clock if he can. There's the pressure.
They're going to call B.J. Armstrong for the foul. But hold it. They call timeout before the steal. Smart move. Jess Kersey picked it up, and he pointed to where the timeout was called. It was by Steve Smith. Thus, no steal. It's a 20-second timeout with 7.6 remaining in the first quarter. 33-19 Miami.
Well, I don't think they really want this timeout right now. It just seems to me it's ill-advised. It seems to me that it's sort of one of those serendipity timeouts. You don't really mean to have it, but you got it. It's an accidental happening, and you got to live with it. I mean, that 20-second timeout could be more valuable at an end of a quarter when you want to set up a play to maybe get a three-pointer to maybe go in at half with a little extra lead. Maybe psychologically you want to gain an edge by using that timeout. Kind of a wasted one if you ask me, but don't ask.
There's Dan Marino. This is Celebrity City tonight. Dan Marino, Dick Versace, everybody.
I think he bought his tie where you bought yours. It's great.
He's looking good. It's called Miami Nice. Jerry Lewis is here. These are Jerry's kids, this team.
Let me ask you a question. Is Miami going to become the LA of the East? Is that a possibility with all these stars here?
I said that to somebody today, and they said, actually, LA is the Miami of the West. Thank you very much.
Oh, I see.
That's the attitude here in South Florida. They had to reset the clock here to 9.7 seconds. That's the reason this timeout lasted longer than 20 seconds. Let me just check the scoring here for Miami early. Rice has 7, Long 8, Cycli 5, Smith 7, Shaw 6. You got to call that balance.
Well, I just think that what's going to happen is that there's going to be a drop-off in this shooting. And when that occurs, you're going to have to depend on hard work. And the one thing that's a little bit upsetting, I think, to Kevin Lockery right now and his coaching staff is that when the Bulls do get a miss or a steal, then they got easy baskets at the other end. It's transition basketball at its best when you've got those guys like Jordan, Grant, and Scottie Pippen filling the lane.
9.7 to go in the quarter. Look at this defense. It'll be Chicago ball. Miami could barely get it inbounded. Chicago's strength, their defense.
Well, Kevin Lockery's all over Ronnie Nunn, and I think he's got a legitimate case. There was a lot of, hands on shoulders, grabbing of jerseys. The players in this league know that officials in the last few seconds of the quarter don't like to have a parade to the free throw line, and they try to take advantage of it.
Bimbo Coles gets into the ballgame for this final couple of seconds. He's playing with 100-degree temperature, hasn't scored closure tonight. Jordan missing, has another opportunity. That won't count. The Miami Heat has held the Chicago Bulls to their lowest first quarter point total of the year and lead it 33-19. 5% shooting. Miami Heat at 67%. And Pippen had 11 of Chicago's 19 points. Michael Jordan, on the other hand, only 2. Will Perdue is checked in for the Bulls.
If you think that this Miami Heat team wasn't excited about being in the playoffs, here's a quick little story. Grant Long, when Cleveland beat the Atlanta Hawks, answered his telephone at home. Hello, playoff house. And this whole crowd is as excited as he was.
Serena, the playoff house here tonight. Pippen shooting over Cycli. Pippen now with 13. He's not had any problems with it. 33-21 Miami. 12-point lead, opening moment, second quarter. Jess Kersey with a foul on the baseline. It's on Scottie Pippen. His first. Jess Kersey, Ronnie Nunn, and Derek Stafford, the officials here tonight.
Well, I talked to Scottie Pippen last night, and he felt the whole key to the game was going to be the Bulls' defense, that they had to really play good defense and get up after them right away, and they clearly haven't done that.
Bimbo Coles from Virginia Tech handling the ball against B.J. Armstrong. Keith Haskins is also checked in for Miami. Illegal defense called against the Bulls. There'll be a new shot clock and an inbound on the side.
It's very, very interesting that Ronnie Cycli earned himself a double team that time. It caused the Bulls to have an illegal defense. Normally, Ronnie Cycli doesn't draw double teams in this team.
Cycli there drew actually a triple team by the time he turned around with the ball.
Well, I like Ronnie Cycli. I think he's got a lot of offensive ability, but he just has to stay aggressive.
On the baseline. Askins went for the tip-in, couldn't get it. He goes down. He's the youngster from Alabama. Armstrong wide open. Rebound was ripped out of Purdue's arms. Bimbo Coles finds Brian Shaw. For three. Shaw has 9.
Brian Shaw is picking a great time to find a comfort zone.
Pippen on the baseline. Brian Shaw got it.
Keith Askins is a very underrated player. He was an undrafted player out of Alabama. He didn't even start on his senior year in college. Stu Inman, the personnel director, picked up on his work ethic and his athletic ability, gained 20 pounds of muscle, and now he's gained 20 pounds of confidence.
24 years old, and that's interesting. Didn't even start at Alabama.
Bill Foran, the strength coach for the Miami Heat, said that Bimbo Coles and Keith Askins are the hardest working guys on the Miami Heat team in that weight room.
13-point lead by the Heat, 10:28 to go in the half. Cycli helping with that Chicago pressure. You see how long it takes the Heat to get it across. It took 6 seconds. 16 on the shot clock when Miami goes into their offense. 9 into Cycli. They're going to get B.J. Armstrong for the foul.
Well, if they're going to continue to allow the ball to be thrown that deep into the post, that's what we refer to as a very deep post-up. See how deep he is into the paint? You can't play behind a guy down inside. You're going to have to bring across some backside help to make sure that Ronnie Cycli can't have his way in the lane like that. I would suggest that if Will Purdue wants to do a better job defensively, then get up on the top side and not allow the pass to go in there. Use his long arms and make the Bulls try, make the Heat try to lob the ball inside the rim.
Livingston comes in, as does Grant. So now we've got Purdue, Grant, Livingston, Armstrong, and Jordan on the floor for the Bulls. Cycli 4 out of 4 from the line, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks early in this ballgame. In the first couple of minutes, it looked like Ronnie Cycli was in a daze. Got out of it quickly enough. Heat by 15. 10 minutes to go first half. Jordan with the fadeaway. He has 4.
That's a tough matchup for Brian Shaw. He has to back off. He's afraid of the penetration. And not only does Michael have speed, he has size on him as well.
Brian Shaw finds the opening for the shot. Throws up a brick. Out of bounds, off Cycli, Chicago ball. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Dick Versace and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game. Bimbo Coles, I told you, playing with a sore throat, had a 100-degree temperature at the shoot-around today.
Playoff time, Bob. Just blow it off and play. Lace them up, go out and play.
Jordan with 2 consecutive field goals and now has 6. 38-27, Heat by 11. The adrenaline rush now settling down, and Miami's into an old-fashioned ball game here. Rice misses the 3. Jordan.
Rice had a good long look.
Horace Grant kicks it back out to B.J. Armstrong. Bulls starting to rebound considerably better than they did in the first 5 minutes of this game. Jordan with the no-look pass. Cycli comes away with it. Bowles to Cycling for the two-handed slam.
Ronnie Cycling active in the lane, reading the penetration of Bimbo Coles, freed himself up for an easy slam.
Askins with a tough job trying to guard Grant.
I think Horace Grant's the most underrated player on the Bulls team, maybe one of the most underrated players in the league itself.
Grant at 6'10", Askins at 6'8". Simply no physical match for him. 9 on the shot clock. Glenn Rice into the paint. Jordan with that patented behind-the-back steal. Armstrong takes the hard foul from Bimbo Coles and will go to the line.
Well, if you're going to foul the guy, make sure that he can't shoot the free throw. When I watched that World War III game against New York and Detroit the other night, I guarantee you there were no layups given, no quarter given either. And I think what the Heat has to do is they have to realize, let's make a smart decision here. Are we going to take away the shot and the basket with this foul, or are we going to give a little love tap in there? Now they're looking at a three-point play. Potentially.
E.J. Armstrong.
In game 1 and 2, Bob, I noticed that when Miami penetrates, they don't always do a good job of finding the open guy on the perimeter. Sometimes they kind of plan ahead and they say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then they go after it and make no adjustments on the way.
There's that intense pressure. Cycling had to bring the ball up the court. Bulls on an 11-4 run. Foul on Chicago. The Heat shot 67% in the first quarter. Only 2 for 8 in this quarter as the Bulls have turned up their own heat. Armstrong's second personal. Alan Ogg at 7'2", his second year from Alabama Birmingham, will be in the ballgame in a moment. Coming up at halftime, the Prudential Halftime Report with Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studios with Hawks head coach Bobby Weiss. Hubie Brown will catch up with Trailblazer center Kevin Duckworth, and we'll also update you on the Phoenix-San Antonio Game 3, which just started.
Right now, the Miami Heat's vulnerable. They've got Alan Ogg in there. They don't have much inside scoring. They got Steve Askins. They got some help from Glenn Rice. Bimbo Coles has been shooting real well, 60% coming into this game. And then Kevin Edwards, who is not shooting well, right around 38%. They need some offense. They don't have it on the floor.
Jordan. Well, Miami is making them pay inside.
Well, that's the right idea. Not that you're supposed to go over there and, and hurt the guy. And you certainly don't want to hurt the league's premier player. But you want to make him take a difficult shot. As he gets in there, there should be a lot of white shirts in there. That's legitimate basketball. That's great NBA basketball. The NBA, no babies allowed.
Alan Ogg certainly isn't a baby. 7'2", 250 pounds. Scott Williams checking in, his second appearance as Purdue goes to the bench. .737 to go in the first half. The Bulls have pulled to within 7. They had trailed by 15. Jordan has 6 points in the quarter, 8 points in the game. Edwards has it stripped by Jordan. Needs the break. Draws the foul. 8 points in the quarter.
Well, you got a series of complications here. We just talked about Kevin Edwards when he penetrates, not reading. He planned ahead. They closed off the gap. Now Michael Jordan's free to come down and do his thing. He's so dangerous in transition. Now you foul him. Now he dunks. Now they've got, rhythm. They've got excitement. This is what they feed off of. They feed off of this guy, the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. But he does miss occasionally.
Rice and Scott Williams will jump it up. Scott Williams out of North Carolina. Cliff Livingston is in the ball game for the Bulls right now. I liked your line, the sub du jour for the Bulls, and Jordan's going to get a rest. Pippen back in.
They've had good luck with the bench. The bench has served them well all year, and I believe to the fullest that Phil Jackson has played that bench. You can see the ball slip out of bounds. The little pressure down court has been a major problem. 15 steals in game 2.
Kevin Edwards out of DePaul just bounced it off his foot. Big turnover there as the Bulls are on a run and trail now by only 5. 7:10 to go in the half. Pippen given the baseline by Edwards. Hands it off inside. Loose ball foul on Livingston. Timeout on the floor. Heat leading by 5.
15,008, and no one is more excited nor more proud than Louis Chaffel, the managing partner of the Miami Heat. Congratulations on going from an expansion team to a playoff team in 4 short years.
This is wonderful. I mean, this whole atmosphere. What's going on here is just unbelievable when you think not too long ago there wasn't even a building. Nobody thought pro basketball would ever make it in South Florida. But if there's ever been a doubt, it's diffused here tonight.
They doubted the location of the arena. They said people wouldn't come down here at night. They said that Miami only supported winners, but you proved them all wrong.
Well, they said a lot of things, but you give people what they want. You give them hardworking athletes. You give them a good night of fun and entertainment, and you have the NBA behind you.
What about those people that said you shouldn't have made the playoffs but gone into the lottery?
They never played sports, and they were never here tonight.
Okay, thanks a lot. Back to you, Bob.
6:55 to go in the half. Heat 41, Bulls 36. Rice. Livingston with a rebound. Miami's shooting has gone south on them after shooting 67 in the first quarter, Dick. As you said, we might expect at least a decrease in that. 10 on the shot clock here.
You've got to get some points off your defense. You just can't rely on your offensive output.
Purdue with a scoop shot and his first 2 points of the ball game. Career high in game number 1 for Purdue. He had 16 points in limited minutes.
He was the sub of the day.
7-0 Bulls run. It's a 3-point game. The Bulls. Purdue started that by tipping it away from Cycling. A chance to pull to within 1 or better. It's a 1-point game, and this crowd has been taken out of it momentarily, at least. Pippen with 17 points.
Well, when Louis Chappelle heard that they were going to be into the playoffs, he was watching the game in a bar, and his comment was, "I feel so good, so much emotion, and emotion is what carried his team early in this game." But they've got to knuckle down and play some defense. They've got to take better care of the ball, and they've got to handle the down-court pressure of the Chicago Bulls.
Heat holding on to the lead now with a big outside shot from Bimbo Cole. Pippen. He was bothered a bit by Kevin Edwards.
That was a good challenge, and they need a lot more of those kinds of challenges defensively. Make the passes difficult for the Chicago Bulls.
Grant Long. Livingston with a rebound. He's got 2 in just a couple of minutes of action. 43-40 Miami, 5 minutes to go, first half. Horace Grant traveling. Steve Smith back into the ball game for Miami, and Michael Jordan for Chicago. Armstrong sits down as the Bimbo Cole.
In the paper today, they had some reporter trying to explain the Chicago Bulls triangle offense. It was dead wrong. You and I laughed about it over breakfast. But one of the things they can do in that triangle offense is post any player. Right now, they ought to think about posting Scottie Pippen on Kevin Edwards at the offensive end.
Edwards kicks it out to Rice. Threes in and out of there. Horace Grant to Pippen. He's got 19.
There's absolutely no way Kevin Edwards can stay matched up successfully on Scottie Pippen. He has too much size, too much athleticism, jumping ability, savvy, moxie, confidence.
1-point game. Got a switch. Steve Smith against Grant. He's going to launch one.
See, that's the absolute amazing thing about Horace Grant. You can put him on the point guard, and he's just as effective as he is on the power forward.
San Antonio up on Phoenix early. Smith stepped on the line, the reason for the turnover. We'll keep you posted on the other playoff games tonight. Portland and the Lakers come up right after this one. The Lakers trying to avert a sweep. Jordan over Steve Smith. And the Bulls have their first lead of the game. Miami had been up by 15, 44-43. Chicago, 3:43 to go in the half.
And Bob, that came on a wonderful shot on a fall away, fade away, lean back, impossible to challenge jump shot. Nothing but net. Hurled in.
Fouls on Purdue for holding on to cycling. Jordan has 10 points in this quarter.
Right now, Miami's standing around offensively. They've got to get more movement. They got to maybe clear aside, run a pick and roll, take advantage of the matchup with Steve Smith if they can. They've got to do something to make sure that the other people on the team touch leather on their trip down. Maybe come down and get into a passing game, run something that's a little less predictable than what they're doing.
Cartwright will be checking back in here in a minute.
The more you stand around against the Chicago Bulls, the more their athleticism comes into play. They can step around for steals. They can double team. They can make you react at closing off lanes on penetration.
Cartwright's in for Purdue. Cycling can tie it if he hits the second of his 2 free throws. He's had a good first half. 9 points, 5 rebounds. And there's that Chicago run. Michael Jordan, 10 of those 25 points in this quarter. It's tied at 44. Now Cartwright, Pippen, Jordan, Grant, and Livingston on the floor for the Bulls. Shaw on Jordan. Good defense, but
Kevin Lockley made a change, brought in Steve Smith, took Kevin Edwards out, with Steve Smith on Pippen. Much better size matchup.
Trying to post up cycling. Cartwright forced him way out of there. Gives him an opportunity to go to the hoop. The foul before the drive. It's not a foul. It's illegal defense, and that's going to be a technical free throw for Miami, and they'll inbound the ball.
Michael Jordan gets into the lane, elevates, has a cup of tea, drops the basket in, and says, 1 lump or 2.
3:03 to go in the half. Glenn Rice misses the technical free throw, but the Heat will get the ball out of bounds with a new shot clock. Free throws have been a problem for Miami. They have only taken 46 in this series.
Kevin Lockery wanted to get more free throws. He knows his team is the 3rd best free throw shooting team in the NBA with a 79% average, but he has no way to take advantage of it if you're not going to punch the ball inside or take the ball off the dribble.
Big three-pointer from Steve Smith, and the Heat have regained the lead by 1. After getting 7 in the first quarter, Glenn Rice is 0 for 5 from the floor and scoreless here in the second quarter. Rice on Jordan. Chicago ball. Chicago gets a timeout with 2:27 to go in the half. The Heat clinging tenaciously to a 1-point lead. The first playoff game in Miami Heat history. They're trailing Chicago 2-0 in this first round and are leading, however, here in the first half, 47-46 with 2:27 to go. This is the first of our doubleheader tonight on TNT. We'll be going out to Los Angeles, where Hubie Brown will team up with Pete Van Wieren to bring you that game, and then we'll also have bonus coverage of the game between San Antonio and Phoenix.
Wayne Huizenga, owner of the Marlins. We have all kinds of stars here.
Marlins have sold 10,000 season tickets for their first season already. Jordan. Oh my.
See, right now, Bob, there's no reason that the Miami Heat shouldn't be feeling good about themselves. It's just they started with a feeding frenzy, had the crowd involved. Chicago Bulls caught up. but I mean, they're right in the ball game. If they went into this game saying, could we be 47-48 with 2:02 left in the half, will we take it? They'd have taken it easily. They should be very happy about how they're playing.
With 5 on the shot clock, got a foul on John Paxson. Oh, hold it, maybe Armstrong. Let's make sure. It's Paxson.
Michael makes a very difficult move there. You've got to move the bodies inside, and you've got to make him elevate vertically and not let him elevate towards the basket. Once he does that, he gets creative and he starts to do things that you've never seen before.
I wonder what that conversation's about. Doral, the Blue Monster, did you bring your clubs?
Oh, with Jess Kersey, it could be a variety of substances.
By the way, Jess Kersey did not call that foul on Paxson. That was his initial indication. Changed it to Scottie Pippen. And this game's tied at 48. Enjoyed the story about Phil Jackson, who does not allow golf clubs on the playoff charter, of course. They find golf clubs when they get here, but he immediately thinks they're Michael's. Turns out they belong to one of the Chicago announcers.
Yeah, Tom Doer's clubs. They would be Tom Doer's 7-3. I don't think those were Michael's clubs.
Pippen had a moment in the lane at the bottom of the iron. Heat leading it by 1. Inside to Steve Smith.
It's all about choices right now. There's an excellent choice.
What a move by the rookie from Michigan State.
Some rookie. Yo.
Only played in 61 games, had a serious knee injury, difficult family problem, played through all the adversity.
I put it in the Versace computer. He will be a star in this league.
Traveling on Cartwright. The Heat with a 3-point lead and a minute 10 to go in the half, and this crowd is back in the ballgame.
Hello.
Shaw, long, cycling. Rice and Smith on the floor for Miami.
Good movement. Good movement.
7 on the shot clock. Over the top, it'll belong to Chicago with 48 to go in the quarter. You could not find a ticket for this basketball game. There was notices in the newspaper here in Miami that police would be closely watching scalping outside the door. Jordan in heavy traffic draws the foul with 37 seconds.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like the defense that time because they did bring the bodies. They took away that inside lean move where he gets so creative, and they made him fade away, but they put a little body on him, a little too much body. I think when you play Michael Jordan, if you can make him elevate up, then he's left with a jump shot. Maybe you can disturb his vision of the basket, but if you let him lean, you're in big trouble.
Jordan has 14 in this quarter, 15 in the quarter. Coming up at halftime, Bobby Weiss in the studios with Ernie Johnson Jr. Hubie Brown talks to Kevin Duckworth out on the left coast. And update on that Suns-Spurs game. You saw the Spurs trying to avert a sweep down in San Antonio, leading 21-14 early in the game.
I look for the Spurs to win that game. I think they'll win it.
Miami ball, 36 seconds to go in the half. Here's the pressure. Lightly applied this time. Down inside to Rice. Big bucket for the
And how about the pass from Steve Smith? That was 3/4 court. That's about 75 feet on the money to Glenn Rice underneath.
Heat by 4. Pippen finally denied a shot at the basket. With 9 to shoot, Jordan. 16 in the quarter.
Oh, that's the problem with playing Michael Jordan, Bob. You can do everything right, and he scores anyway.
Nice pressure. Ball handling. Steve Smith hits the 3. 56-51.
I love this rookie. Scottie Pippen.
Well, they're on their feet at the Miami Arena. The Heat leading it by 5. Steve Smith
They're
has
dancing
15.
in the aisles. They're clacking. The crickets are cricketing. Check this out. What a rookie. Cool as can be. That's 3. Steve Smith. Steve Arama.
Well, they've made clacking an art form at Miami Arena. The Heat with a 56-51 lead over the Chicago Bulls. They are at the half at Miami Arena. Ernie Johnson here in Atlanta with the Prudential Halftime Report, joined by Bob Weiss, the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks. You told me before the game, hey, Miami's got talent. They play well at home. They're going to give Chicago a good game, and you're right.
Well, I must say, I said they could give them a good game, and fortunately it's turning out that way. A great ball game. Miami came out blistering hot, very, very high as a result of the fans and the uproar there. Shot 67%, and I think they caught Chicago napping a little bit, too.
Well, let's see what they did. Let's go to the telestrator and point one out for me here.
This play is a good example of just kind of the way things went. Miami was very aggressive. Here you'll see a drive to the basket. He's picked up here, but look at the weak side. Nobody stepping in. Gives Cycli a clear lane to the basket, and that kind of told the whole story of the beginning of the ball game.
Ronnie Cycli strong to the hole, 56-51. Miami with the lead over Chicago with 24 minutes to play. Elsewhere tonight, the Phoenix Suns and the San Antonio Spurs. Phoenix has a chance to close them out. Strickland's not playing. Robinson's not playing. Willie Anderson's not playing. Nobody's playing for these guys, but somehow they still have the lead. Ceballos gets his shot blocked. Phoenix with an early lead, but back comes San Antonio. Terry Cummings has been red hot. Paul Pressey gets hot right here. That is a three-pointer. They got a 6-point lead. And then it's Paul Pressey again. This one won't go, but Antoine Carr subbing for the Admiral, working off the glass, and the big guy throws it down. San Antonio hanging tough. Second period, they've got the lead over Phoenix 27-24. And you take a look at the summary of this series so far. Phoenix with a huge rebounding advantage, Coach. And how do you explain this? The Spurs shooting a better field goal percentage, but trailing 0-2.
Well, it's exactly those numbers. They're trailing miserably in rebounding. Of course, David Robinson's not there. Turnovers a big factor, and they're not getting to the free throw line as much as Phoenix is, and those are the numbers that are telling the story there.
When the Prudential Halftime Report continues, you know we have another game to go tonight. The Portland Trail Blazers, the LA Lakers at the Great Western Forum. Hubie Brown talks to Kevin Duckworth when we come back. And the Heat on TNT as the Prudential Halftime Report continues. Still to come tonight, Game 2 of our doubleheader. The LA Lakers playing host to the Portland Trail Blazers. The Lakers trying to avoid a sweep. It's been all Portland. Just about ran them out of the gym in both of the games. In Game 2, Kevin Duckworth had 19 points to lead a great Portland attack. And our Hubie Brown had a chance to spend some time with Duckworth.
Kevin, you're steamrolling. Games 1 and 2, nothing but a walkover versus the Lakers. You're dominating the boards, dominating the point spread. Are you guys at the top of your game right now?
Well, I don't feel that we are exactly at the top of it, but I think we're on our way. We played well both games.
Now, the much-heralded matchup, Kevin Duckworth versus Vlade Divac. You call him a wimp. Now, is that what's happening? Well, what's causing all of this in this rivalry?
I didn't call him a wimp, straight up wimp. Only thing I was talking about was the people who flop, to me, is a wimp thing. You know, it wasn't like I called Vlade a wimp. I don't think he's a wimp. I think he's a very talented ball player. I just feel that referees see guys who flop. I think they shouldn't be able to get the calls. I mean, come on, you think a guy can throw somebody across the lane with a finger?
Yeah, but I tell you, you're pretty big. I saw that sumo wrestler in Japan today. I think you could handle him. Come on.
But I've seen wrestlers can do that. No, it just doesn't happen that easy.
All right, let's talk about the matchup itself. 31 minutes a game. Divac in the first 2 only averaging 7 points, 5 rebounds. Do you feel vindication from last year's semifinal loss, or do you feel that you match up quite well with him?
Well, I feel good, from last year's playoffs, but I think that I match up pretty good against him too. It's just a matter of me being able to go back at him. A lot of times I played against him. He was getting more shots than I was, and I was always working on D, trying to defend him. But, last 2 games really helped me a lot because I think that I was able to get a lot more shots than he was.
Well, I look at you and I really like your offensive game. I think that you have a tremendous amount of moves to the basket. But now you're on a team, 6 guys in double figures, high-scoring ball club. You only get 10 shots a game. But people forget, you're an all-star player. You've been in the all-star game 2 times. How difficult is it for you to only get a limited number of shots every night?
Well, it's difficult. This year was very difficult because I was getting shots under 6. Under 10. So it's difficult. But then again, when you're winning, things going well, everything's looking good, you tend to overlook a lot of things. You know, I don't have to get 10 shots a game if we win it like we did this year. And so, as long as we continue to win, I can't complain about nothing.
I'm going to ask you one last question. Are you appreciated or unappreciated in the city of Portland? Come on,
I think I'm appreciated for most fans, but some of them are still not appreciated.
Yeah, but that's life, right?
That's life, but I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to stay in Portland and enjoy every bit of it.
That's wonderful. You make a great contribution to the team, and, we really enjoy watching you play. You're really tremendous talent. Good luck, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
Hubie and Duck in L.A. Now, Coach, on a team that has Drexler and has Kersey and Porter, why is Duckworth always fingered as the key to the series?
Well, a lot of times what happens is in a clutch situation, you'll start going to just those people you mentioned. And so a guy like Duckworth, his numbers will just automatically drop because the coach is going to someone else. It makes him an easy target.
Kevin Duckworth, 19 points in Game 2. He was the man in the middle. He's a key as they go to Game 3 tonight at the Great Western Forum. That's Game 2 of our doubleheader. The Blazers and the Lakers still to come tonight on TNT. In Atlanta, Miami with a 5-point lead over Chicago at the half. I don't know if this is going to hold up, folks, but whether it does or not, this is a huge night for the city of Miami, the first time they've ever hosted an NBA playoff game. Let's get more on that from Craig Sager, who is courtside at Miami Arena. Craig?
Well, thank you very much, Ernie. With me, one of the most rabid fans, a walk-on basketball player at Villanova, who has written articles for the NBA on hang time. He's an engineering major. He also happens to be the mayor, Xavier Suarez. First of all, from a fan standpoint, what about the first half?
I think we got 5 players playing, and at the beginning it looked like they only had Scotty really ready to play. Then Michael got into the act, and but our 5 players are ready to play. They don't seem to be awed by Chicago, at least not in this arena, with the noise we're making and the support that the fans are giving them.
Okay, as mayor, you've hosted Super Bowls in this city before. You have Major League Baseball coming. What does an NBA playoff game mean to this city, especially here at the arena?
There's nothing this intimate. I mean, people can see each other. They can relate to each other. The team, the faces of the players. You can see the strain in their faces, and you can see the smile of success when they score. And I don't think I've ever heard anything noisier than this. I guess it's the acoustics of being in an indoor arena. The people are very excited. This particular neighborhood is a very important one for us. It's Overtown. It's a symbol of the rebirth of one of Miami's toughest neighborhoods. And it's coming back, and the Heat are doing it with them and maybe taking the lead in bringing back Overtown into Miami's mainstream.
What about the success of the Overtown project? We know there's a lot of criticism at the beginning. They said this is not the place to put the arena.
That's exactly right, and I think the people that have that vision made the right decision, because there's been no damage to this facility at all. We've even had civil disturbances in this area. They've never done any damage to this facility, and they love the Miami Heat, and they love the urban renewal that's taking place around it. We have about 1,200 families living in the near vicinity, people of all ethnic groups and of all economic categories living in Overtown, which is a dream that people had in the past, but nobody ever thought would actually happen.
Well, you were the mayor today, but Steve Smith, I think, would get more votes tonight.
I think he would win tonight the way he's playing.
Let's go back to Bob and Dick.
Thank you, Craig Sager. And the Miami Heat have a 56-51 lead here at halftime. The Heat led by as many as 17. Chicago made a tremendous run in the second quarter, led by Michael Jordan. But nevertheless, the Heat has a lead at halftime. Most people didn't think that would be possible.
Well, Kevin Lockery wanted several things. He wanted to shoot 48%. They're shooting 55. He wanted more rebounding. They're getting out-rebounded 24-17. He wanted to get to the free throw line. They've been averaging about 23 trips there. They've only got 13 so far this game. He also wanted to get the turnovers down. They only have 7. That's not bad. They're doing a better job handling the press because they have their one guy take the ball out of bounds. Their point guard takes the ball out of bounds. They try to get it back to him and have him bring it up. Sometimes it's been successful. Sometimes it has not.
So when Chicago's unleashed the Dobermans, the Miami Heat hadn't had to jump over the fence yet. Here are the stats. Michael Jordan, very cold start. Everybody started slowly except Pippen. But in the second quarter, Michael finally got here and loosened up and poured in 17. And there you see the shooting percentage.
Well, Miami has relied early on the shooting percentage, and it always falls off. But then you have to, you got to speak to your team And you have to say, look, you know, hey, you're hitting your shots now. That's great, but we got to get this done in the trenches. We got to play some good defense. We got to get on the boards. We got to take the ball to the basket. We got to get ourselves on the free throw line, and we've got to be very active in transition defense.
So both Pippen and Jordan with 19 first-half points. The Heat with the lead, 56-51. Jordan's quick turnaround move over Brian Shaw.
Well, Bob, you know what they say, the three most important 5 minutes in an NBA game, last 5 minutes of the first half, first 5 minutes of the third quarter, and the last 5 minutes of the game. Chicago Bulls preach that. They believe it. Let's see what happens.
Brian Shaw looking for some help from Long. There's the give and go. Offensive foul on Grant Long.
Tough break, made a good move. Call could have gone either way. Kevin Lockery, right attitude, staying with his team. He's done a marvelous job of taking a hands-off attitude, nice, easy manner with this team. Put an arm around them, they've responded. He likes the team.
10 to shoot for the Bulls. Horace Grant to Jordan. Big screen from big Bill Cartwright. Jordan with 23 and the first 4 points of the second half. It is a 1-point Miami lead.
Excuse me, Bob. I think you got to take your chances and switch out. You can't give the greatest player in the history of the game a wide-open warm-up jump shot. You got to get out and challenge.
Cycling into the paint. Good up and under move. However, Pippen comes away with a 2-on-3, and he'll hold it up. Bob Neal, Dick Versace with you from Miami Arena. The lob to Michael Jordan.
And you can't forget about the world's greatest player. You got to at least know where he is on the court. I mean, hello, timeout. Let's match up. Oh, wait a minute. Who am I guarding? Somebody's guarding this guy because he can do that. Whoa.
6 straight points from the Bulls. They were trailing by 5. They now lead it by 1, and it took 1 minute and 33 seconds. Miami certainly without the, no pun intended, heat that they exhibited at the beginning of this ball game when they started the second half.
Well, one of the things that you try to avoid when you get into playoffs, the season is so long, it is so arduous, it is strenuous, it is 100 games with exhibition, and you can't let your guys think about summer vacation.
Steve Smith being hounded by Michael Jordan. Smith, the rookie out of Michigan State. 10 to shoot for Miami. 6 on the shot clock. Shaw draws the foul from John Paxson and will go to the line. That's 3 on Paxson.
Brian Shaw did a nice job of trying to get his body in to John Paxson. He couldn't get by him. Paxson did a pretty nice job of shuffling his feet. But what happened was Shaw went in, dipped in, dropped his shoulder, and got Paxson to bite. Hit him on the arm. Me and my shadow. Look at this. Follow me. I'm going to go through the park. Now I'm going to go down here. I'm going to come up the screen.
Rice started very strong, had 7 in the first quarter, 11 in the game, and is only 4 of 12 now once Pippen got on track and started defensively better. They've got to have a big game from Rice because he's their offensive punch. Jordan with a 360, off balance, on the seat, rolling in.
Crier, it lays up and cries and begs and drops.
57-59, Bulls now with a 2-point lead. Shaw. Miami now looking a bit flat, not getting back as quickly. Paxson with the miss, cycling to the rebound. Chance to tie on this possession.
This is that high pick and roll that gave the Chicago Bulls a lot of trouble in game 1.
Nice pass inside. That came off the block. Grant Long got it in. Smith had his shot blocked, came back and got it, then made the big pass.
Stayed with it. He does a lot of good things.
Jordan, nice pass inside the Pippen. Long's got him, 10 to shoot.
wonderful patience. I mean, all you high school players out there, all you college players, all you other NBA teams, all you coaches, that is wonderful patience. Wonderful.
Take it in, kick it out, take it back, back in a step or two.
Bob, it's gorgeous basketball. I've been watching this team all year long. They're wonderful to watch.
5 to shoot for Miami. Rice eludes Pippen. He lost his shadow for just a moment. Tied at 61. That was good help into his own man.
Terrific help.
Shaw missed the jam. He was bothered by John Paxson.
See, Glenn Rice should have gone all the way down just in case. When I was a college coach, I used to give my guys $5 if they get the miss on a dunk.
Jordan is fouled on the shot. That would have really brought this crowd to their feet. John Paxson made a nice play to bother Shaw, and you made the excellent point. Where's the trailer?
See, always when you have a missed shot at the other end. Now, there's the steal by Ronnie Cycli. Brought the body across the lane. Nice little transition fast break here. Wide open for the dunk. Glenn Rice trailing. Glenn, watch now. Come on, Glenn. He might miss it, Glenn. You can be there to tip it in. $5. Monopoly money only.
Jordan at the line with 7:44 to go in the third quarter. Bulls now by 1. Michael had only 2 in the first quarter. Somehow, I knew that wouldn't last. He's averaging 39 a game in this series. Bulls by 2.
Cartwright is really towards Cycli way off the block.
Grant Long. This is from three-point range. Paxson runs it down. Michael said before the game he didn't worry about playing golf down here because he was going to go home first thing in the morning, indicating a sleep, obviously.
In the first 5 minutes of the game, did you believe him?
I kept believing all along. Jordan's made 12 of his last 15 shots. Chicago ball. The Bulls have a 4-point lead with 6:54 to go in the first half. The Bulls have outscored Miami 14-5 in this quarter. Bulls shooting 75%, Miami 22%. Jordan has made 5 of 6 in the quarter.
One thing's disturbing me, Bob. Grant Long takes that long three-point shot. He's 6 for 22 on the year. That's 27%. I don't know if you know it or not, but on the Chicago Bulls roster, they designate certain players who are non-three-point shooters, mainly their big guys or centers. And any time in the basketball game that they take a three-point shot, it's an automatic $50 fine whether they make it or miss it.
Not a bad idea.
I'm not so sure they ought not do that with Grant Long.
6:54 to go third quarter. Bulls on a 14-5 run in the quarter. Lead at 65-61. Miami looking emotionally exhausted. Remember, it's their first trip to the playoff ever. That's 2 on Cycli.
Foul number 4, Ronnie Cycli, is second.
Take a look at the GMC scoreboard, and Phoenix has now caught San Antonio. Phoenix looking for a sweep down in the Alamo City. San Antonio had led most of the first half, and now Phoenix has come back. We'll, by the way, have the Portland-Los Angeles game coming up on TNT right after this one with Pete Van Wieren and Hubie Brown.
For San Antonio's without Rod Strickland, without the great David Robinson, it makes it very difficult. But I believe it was enough pride for them to pull out one game in San Antonio.
Brian Shaw. Bulls lead it by 5. Steve Smith against Paxson. Rice all alone. Rebound from Grant Long, out of bounds. Chicago ball that went off the foot of Grant Long.
Well, that's a tough call. I don't know. There's 4 legs in there. Could you tell? Could anyone tell? You got 15,000 people. You had to make a call. Just Kersey talking it over. He maybe thought it went the other way. Let's see. A lot of legs, a lot of arms. Looked like it might have gone off for Grant.
There you go. Off long. Good call. Young official Derek Stafford making the call. And now a technical on Kevin Lockery, called by Derek Stafford.
Don't get another one, Kevin. Yeah, I think you got 3 officials here. They're all pretty cool heads. They're not going to give Kevin the second technical. They know it's the last playoff game, possibly. They know that this is an important debut for Kevin Lockery with his Miami Heat team. And these officials, at this point in the game, when these things happen, you'd be very much surprised at how much common sense they inject into the scenario.
Protection of players and fans in the spirit of good sportsmanship.
Michael Jordan will shoot the technical.
I think that's one of the things that makes a great official, the amount of common sense that he has, knowing the situation. Jordan has added that little swirl to his free throw, that little extra swirl. 3 or 4 extra rotations.
What got Kevin upset there is Stafford had originally said that it was, now they've changed it back. The officials couldn't decide whose ball it was. They said it was Miami's, then Chicago's. That got Kevin upset, thus the technical. Now they've changed it back, and they give it to Miami after the technical.
Oh, wide open drive.
Shaw didn't miss the slam dunk that time, as he had on a previous possession.
Cost Kevin a point to find out, but it might have been worth it in the area of inspiration, if not perspiration.
10 to shoot for Chicago. Nice defensive play on the part of Grant Long as they're trying to get it into Horace Grant. 8 to shoot for Chicago. Heat trailing by 4. 5:55 to go in the third quarter. At the half, Phoenix now has taken the lead over San Antonio. We'll keep you posted. Jordan misses the reverse, but he's fouled as he gets into the paint. It's on Cycling. That's his third.
Bob, that's a very tough matchup for Brian Shaw. You know, he's about 6'3" and a half. Jordan's a legit 6'6", with an astronomical vertical. Great speed, great reputation, greatest player in the history of the game. You got to give Brian Shaw some help. The guy has been basically trying to guard Jordan by himself. No wonder he has runs of 12 to 15 shooting.
You saw that our second game will be Portland and Los Angeles. The Lakers hoping to avoid a sweep if Portland defeats Los Angeles tonight. It will be the punctuation of a season of adversity and tragedy for the Los Angeles Lakers, beginning with the retirement of Magic Johnson. It's been a tough, long year in Los Angeles. Here's that pressure from the Bulls. Get it in the hands of the forward. See, that's the problem. Now back to the guard. Just barely beat the 10-second clock. They took 9 seconds to get it across the line. 10 to shoot.
Well, the guard shouldn't be so quick to give it back to the power forward. Grant Long shouldn't be bringing the ball up the court.
Grant Long missing from the perimeter. Rice with a rebound. Steve Smith just pulls up and cans the three in the face.
Oh, what a stare down between Smith and Jordan. Oh, I mean, you could have zeroed in and seen that. Eye to eye, tooth to tooth, nail to nail, and the rookie nails it.
Jordan answers. That's a 2. 36 points for Michael Jordan with 4:57 to go in the third quarter.
Kind of snuck up on you, didn't you, that 36?
After he gets 2 in the first quarter. Rice is fouled by Pippen on the drive. Team foul situation. Heat with 3. Bulls with 1. 3-point field goals. Miami 6 of 12. Chicago's only taken 1. Look at this. Watch the stare down.
There it is. They got it. Look at this. This is gorgeous. You'll see these two guys for years to come in matchups that might be legendary in time.
Pippen with the personal. That's his third. Rice had 7 in the first quarter, and Pippen has basically shut him down since then. He has 12 in the game now. Glenn Rice out of Michigan says the highlight of his young life was the '89 national championship.
And his favorite NBA city? Chicago.
I don't know if I want to announce that that's my favorite NBA
You're
city.
astounded.
Oh, what the heck?
From
It's
the
my
book of
hometown.
potpourri and ennui.
Not Detroit, huh? He's a Michigan guy.
Likes Italian food on it.
Potpourri and ennui. Unbelievable. 68-71. Heat down by 3. 4:42 to go in the third quarter.
Let's see if they give him some help this time. A little late, but not bad.
Steve Smith. Cycli trailing along with Rice. Cycli with the offensive rebound. Shaw misses the three. That's 14 three-pointers attempted by Miami in this game.
It's hard to live off the home run. It really is. In playoff time, it's even more difficult.
Good interior pass to Horace Grant.
I think this is an important trip for the Miami Heat. They have to take their time, make sure they get a good shot, not necessarily look for the home run. Good rhythm jumper, something inside, maybe a chance to get to the free throw line.
7 to shoot. Tough bucket by Grant Long. He has 12.
Well, that keeps the lead at 3. I mean, 3:37 left in the quarter. They got to be feeling very good about themselves, this young Miami Heat team.
Second personal on Rice.
No wonder Kevin Lockery likes this team. You know, you think that's not important, that the coach liked the team? It's absolutely vital. When you're going through 100 games a year and 10 or 12 exhibitions, 82 regular season games, 9 games in 14 days in 7 cities, sure helps to like the team.
Jordan got airborne, nowhere to go with the ball. It's Miami. Possession, trailing by 3. The big men for the Heat have to play a lot of minutes. Remember, Willie Burton is out. He's being treated for depression and is out on the injured list for the rest of the year, and it really hurts the depth for Miami.
Well, Willie, if you're watching, we wish you well. Come on back. You're going to be an exciting player in this league. Right now, Ronnie Cycli looks exhausted. He's had only 1 rebound in the entire third quarter.
2 fouls on Bill Cartwright. Only Chicago's 3rd team foul in the quarter. Cycli can't get it to drop. Here comes Pippen.
Settle for the fadeaway.
Jordan defends well by Cycli, but hands it to Bull 1A. Scottie Pippen. Pippen has 23.
I still like the poise of Miami Heat.
Nice pick and roll. Stereo.
Yeah, stereo. Whoa, beautiful, beautiful pick and roll. Nice poised play, good read, slip the screen. Give him some help.
Shaw got right in Jordan's face. The Heat with a chance to pull to within 1 or better.
This is known as hanging around in the NBA. Wide open on the roll.
Big board from Cycli, draws the foul, will go to the line. Let's look at the pick and roll again. This was beautiful.
Well, this was so beautiful, it caused you and I to rave about it in unison. See how he slipped the screen, never really set the screen. Nice finish inside. Gorgeous basketball.
Atlanta Bulls by 3 late in the third. Back to Miami in just a second. First, an update on Phoenix and San Antonio. They are at the half now. Tom Chambers back in the Phoenix lineup tonight. 10 first half points. Walks the tightrope around Terry Cummings. Phoenix looking for a sweep at Hemisphere with a 53-50 lead at the break. Now let's go back to Miami to Bob Neal and Dick Versace.
Well, the same story here, Ernie Johnson. The Bulls are leading it by 3 with 2:08, easy for me to say, to go in the third quarter. and the Heat had led by 5 at the half. Chicago came out and, as Dick Versace pointed out, that very important first 5 minutes of the third quarter and got on a run, 14-5, took the lead back. They've held it ever since, but Miami refused to fold up, and they're hanging right in here.
And I think one of the things that's helping them is that they're getting to the offensive boards. Miami's got 5 offensive rebounds, Chicago only 1, while at halftime, the Bulls had 11 offensive rebounds and Miami only 2.
Cycli has yet to score in this quarter, had 10 at the half.
You know, there are things that you look for from your team that coaches refer to as hustle points. Offensive rebounds are included in that category of hustle points, as are steals, deflections, dives on the floor, taking the charge, good defensive plays, things that don't show up necessarily in the stats. But offensive rebounding takes an awful lot of extra effort, and the Miami Heat right now is helping themselves with it.
Now applying a little pressure themselves in the backcourt. 3 near steals, but it was deflated.
You know, prior to the game, I was asked, do you think that the changing defenses and the extended defenses that the Miami Heat throws against Chicago, you know, are they effective? I don't think so. I think they give up easier shots when they extend their defense, because this is a sage-wise championship team. Great shot by Glenn Rice.
Right in the face of Scottie Pippen.
It was just like a little lean back from deep.
Bulls lead it by 1, minute 24 to go in the third quarter. First playoff game in the history of the Miami Heat, and they are doing themselves proud against the defending world champions. Pippen on the hard drive, the kick out. Rice kept it alive for Steve Smith. Shaw draws the foul. He'll go to the line.
I was talking about the extended defenses, the half-court traps, the full-court presses, the different junk defenses that Kevin Lockery likes to use. Right now you see Scottie Pippen penetrating. Watch the effort here on the boards. This works because you slide in and create more white shirts around the ball. Steve Smith did an excellent job.
Horace Grant's first personal foul.
There is another reason that coaches go to these jump and extended defenses. Sometimes it just makes your players hustle a little bit more. And if you're going to go to it for that reason against this team, I think that's valid. If you go to it because you think you're going to fool them, not going to happen.
Final minute of the quarter, as you look at Brian Shaw shooting his free throw. Askins checks in along with Bimbo Coles, and Steve Smith and Glenn Rice will get rest for the final minute of the third quarter. And the Heat has the lead by a point with under a minute to go.
Excuse me, Bob. The unpredictable trap. Kevin Lockery likes to throw this in.
Jordan's no-look pass deflected out of bounds. 7 on the shot clock for the Chicago Bulls. Coming up after tonight's doubleheader coverage, Fred Hickman will be joined by Glenn Doc Rivers live from Los Angeles on Inside the NBA. That's after our second game, which is Portland at Los Angeles. 7 to shoot for Chicago. 4, Jordan. Cycli on the rebound. Stolen by Jordan. Brian Shaw will be called for the foul. Cycli fell asleep on the pressure. Jordan and Pippen particularly are always patrolling the lanes. They remind me of German U-boats.
Well, right when you think he isn't, he is.
It's World War II all over.
That's a good foul. Good NBA foul. Take away the shot, put him on the free throw line.
Your ship is sailing across the Atlantic and you don't know. Jordan with the free throw. Scott Williams is going to come in for the final 35.9. And Horace Grant will sit down.
He replaces Horace Grant.
Michael Jordan, 19 points in the first half, 18 in the second. Look at this shooting. 8 for 14 and 6 for 10. Ouch!
Bulls by 1. A lot of parallels to these teams. Chicago only 1-9 the first 3 years of their Michael Jordan era when they came in. The Chicago, a new franchise, had a terrible time getting on track, as did Miami. Bimbo Coles took the tough drive and took the hard foul.
That was a good call by Jess Kersey. I thought Derek Stafford had a real good look at it. He was silent, but Jess Kersey, the veteran, picked up the foul. I believe these two teams, in Michael's first year that they made the playoffs and the Heat's first year that they made the playoffs, I believe they had identical 38 and 44 records.
Bill Cartwright just picked up his third personal foul.
Well, I don't believe that's a factor in the game at all. Phil Jackson just looked at his center position, figuring he has 18 fouls in there.
You know, if you count Scott Williams and if you count Will Perdue and Stacey King, who can play some center, and Bill Cartwright, technically you got 4 centers. I mean, even Grant can go in there.
Well, I think Phil Jackson does a masterful job of using his bench, much like a baseball team uses the bullpen. I mean, if he needs a left-hander, he goes to a left-hander. If he needs a short reliever, a long-distance reliever, a mid reliever, and he gets good response from these guys. And because there's competition for that time, the performances that they give when they get out on the wood is usually excellent.
The Heat has taken a 1-point lead, 19.8 to go in the third quarter. Heck of a performance by the franchise that's only 5 years old.
There's the trap again, the unpredictable trap. Now they'll try to slide back, match up and stay in the man, getting the shot clock down.
4 seconds.
3. Interrupt this last second shot.
Alan Ogg with the block. That'll end the third quarter.
Look at Alan Ogg!
Bull 79.
The happiest guy in America right now. Alan Ogg made a contribution. Alan Ogg, UW from Alabama, Birmingham, slides over, makes a great block, and celebrates it.
When Billy Cunningham talks to the Miami Heat as an owner, he talks from experience, an NBA title as a player, another as a coach. Did you say anything to them about handling playoff pressure?
Yeah, I said to some of the individuals, but when you get to this level, you have to experience it firsthand. And, the kids are playing pretty well so far.
Another quarter to go, possibly another game or two. Back to Bob.
Kevin Lockery told us, Craig Sager, that this is worth an extra 2 years playing in the league in terms of development for his young team to get even 3 games in the playoff. They're hoping to avoid a sweep here and get an extra game. That was Kevin Edwards from the corner for 2.
I'm surprised. Horace Grant had a very mild third quarter. He had 1 point. 1 rebound, 2 points, 1 rebound. He's a big part of their defense, one of their better shot blockers. He's been extremely quiet this game. He's a part of the Doberman defense, and he's kind of like an absent child today.
Pippen has not been absent, that's for sure. Greg Hodges comes in to give Michael Jordan a rest with 11:34 to go in the game, and the Heat leading it by 2.
Well, I don't mean to be cute, but I really look for Chicago here to turn up the Heat defensively. That is how they make their living. I know Phil Jackson's not happy right now with the way things have gone. Yeah, give the Heat a lot of credit for playing with a lot of poise, putting in some threes, and hanging in this game. But it's Chicago's defense that eventually wilts you.
Heat by 1, they've led by as many as 17. That foul on Cliff Livingston of Chicago. From Miami Arena, 15,008 packed in here for the first playoff game in Miami Heat history. Right after this, out to the West Coast, Pete Van Wieren and Hubie Brown will have the Blazers and the Lakers. Blazers hoping to sweep Los Angeles out of the playoffs. Phoenix trying to do likewise with San Antonio tonight.
Isolation from Kevin Edwards. Probably their strongest driver. In the first few years of this franchise, that's how he made a living. That's how he stayed in the league. The DePaul product is not a terrific outside shooter, only an average outside shooter. And in this particular playoff series, is shooting less than 400% from the field. However, he is a strong finisher. He has the best leap of anybody on the team. And he is a guy that can cause some problems and get his team on the free throw line. You know, Bob, it's always great to get your team on the free throw line as early in the fourth quarter as you can. So when those fouls come, you got a chance to go to the line and shoot 2 every time.
Bulls have 2 team fouls. Miami 1. 11:05 to go in this ball game. Heat by 2. Pippen with a Williams pick. Pick and roll to Williams. Missed the lay-in. Rebound Edwards. Nice pass to Long. Good block by Pippen.
Should have dunked it. Should have gone right in and dunked it.
Hodges buries the 3. He's the NBA three-point champion. That surprises nobody.
That's how he makes his living. You got to know that that's what he likes to do, and you got to go at him defensively.
Haskins to Kevin Edwards. Pulls up for the jumper, but is fouled by Craig Hodges. Now that's one. Let him shoot it, because that's not his game.
Well, quite honestly, you got a terrible mismatch in there for Chicago. Craig Hodges, yes, he can still hit some threes, but I mean, even his own teammates call him Highway 14 defensively. And if you want to get your team on the free throw line, and if you want to get some points easily, and you want to score points with the clock stopped, you get an isolation against Craig Hodges, and you can take him to the basket, you know, all night long.
This game is tied at 84. Let's talk about some significance here. Chicago's won the first 2 by 19 and 30 points respectively. Miami trying to stay alive here in the playoffs, and they're tied with only 10 minutes to go in the game. Hodges. This is from long range. Cole for the offside rebound.
Well, let's see if they take advantage of this Hodges matchup.
Rice backs off from Livingston. Throws up a brick.
That's an ill-advised shot. You got a terrific matchup you want to take advantage of. You got to start planning these things on your way down. If you don't have an easy transition basket, then you want to, really it's the responsibility of the point guard or some leader out there to recognize that. Maybe Kevin's got it now. Let's see.
Phoenix up by 6 in the third quarter, hoping to eliminate San Antonio tonight.
Went inside the cycle.
Powerful move. He missed the jam, but will go to the line.
Ronnie Cycli has excellent footwork. He's been taught real well. Ron Rothstein did a fine job, this first 2 years here, working with these guys, giving them, the fundamentals. Kevin Lockery has done an excellent job working with him. Look inside here. He got a little help there from the left elbow. Bought himself a little space. Scott Williams doesn't have the reputation. Picks up the foul.
Take a look at the exhaustion on the face of Ronnie Cycli, and it's not just physical exhaustion, it's emotional exhaustion, playing the extra season, so to speak. And Kevin Lockery said he warned this young team. There are only 2 players on the team, Sunvold and Brian Shaw, who have any playoff experience. He said, I warned them about the incredible difference in intensity, but as Billy Cunningham said a few minutes ago, there's no way to talk about it. They have to experience.
And Billy really knows, and I think he's very proud of these young men, and well, he should be.
Heat up by 2. Pippen missed the jam.
Good matched up. You got a free one.
Hodges drains the 3.
So there's never an excuse from a defensive standpoint, even when there's a loose ball, that you don't hustle back and get matched up. You learn that in 8th grade, you carry it over into high school, college, and NBA. It's crucial.
Bulls lead by 1. Rice into Cycli. He's got a mismatch down there with Pippen. It's a 3-point opportunity for Ronnie Cycli. He has 16 points.
Well, right now, the Miami Heat got a couple of good things working for them. Matchups where they can find baskets. That's one. The Kevin Edwards and Craig Hodges matchup is also one that they can take advantage of. But Hodges is gone, and his airness is back.
As is Bill Cartwright. 3rd foul on Scott Williams. He goes to the bench.
Well, Bill Jackson's punching all the right buttons. That's what he needs to do. He needs to bring in the veteran Bill Cartwright to play Ronnie Cycli inside. He needs to get Craig Hodges off the floor defensively, and he needs a superstar in the game.
Heat by 2. Livingston tied up by Cycli. That caused the steal for Coles. He's fouled at half court.
I'm not sure whether Kevin Lockery is going to these traps because he wanted to get higher energy levels out of his team, or he wanted to maybe just see if he could force the issue from the standpoint of not letting Chicago do exactly what they want to do. It takes them out of the triangles. They've just got to react to the traps. That time they didn't react very well.
Check this, Scottie Pippen with 4 personal fouls.
I don't think it's a major problem right now.
8:48 to go in the game. Bulls missing from the line. Heat's up by 2. If you're Phil Jackson, of course he's concerned at any time. Livingston's going to the bench as Grant comes back in. When you start looking up there, Phil Jackson, does he start saying, wait a minute, these guys are hanging around a long time?
Oh, I think Phil Jackson, in all honesty, Bob, felt that way from the start of the game right till this very moment. No coach stands on that sideline and looks at another team hanging with his team, the defending champions, as long as they have and as proudly as this Miami Heat team has done, and not be worried about it.
Good ball movement. Jordan back in the game. Drew Edwards away, takes it to the line, and is fouled by Cycling, who just picked up his 4th foul.
Oh, they got caught in the trap, and they tried to rotate out of the trap. There's the trap. Now they got to rotate back and match up. You see Long trying to go over there and match up, but then Jordan just easily got himself to the basket. Left Kevin Edwards just standing there.
Jordan 10 of 12 from the free throw line tonight. Bulls down by 2, 8:30 to go in the game.
Right now on the other end, the Miami Heat's got to come back, show some patience. They've got to handle this down-court pressure first.
Michael Jordan has 40 points with 8:22 to go in the game.
He wants a 50-pointer. I can just feel it, Bob.
If that's Pippen, it'll be 5. It looked like he signaled 33. Let's hold it for a second. They're giving it to Cartwright, number 24. Looked like the 33 went up, and that would have been big.
Well, it's amazing. You can say casually, well, he's got 4 and there's 8 minutes and change left, and it's not a problem. Just as quickly, if he picks up the 5th with 8 minutes and change, it's a major problem if it's Scottie Pippen or if it's a Michael Jordan.
Now, Pippen looks very relieved at the line, and Cycley's been there a lot tonight. He is 11 of 13 from the line. This is one of the things that Kevin Lockery wanted to do, was get to the line more tonight, and they have done just that.
He's done a great job. I think his game preparation for this game, along with the psychological preparation, has just been excellent.
Edwards hit the floor, make it cold very hard, but he's all right. 2-point Heat lead.
Bring the help. They're going to need help here.
They brought the help. That was Long. Jordan had to give it up, but who did he give it up to? Scottie Pippen, who has a cool 27.
It's the greatest 1-2 punch in all of basketball. And that includes the playground.
Which really includes a lot. Tied at 91. Coles, nice job dribbling, gets it to Rice. Steps in over the triple team. In and out.
Cycling! Ronnie Cycling with authority! Hello!
20 points from Cycling. This crowd starting to think they might have another game in Miami. B.J. Armstrong from the corner. That's a 3. That'll calm them down a bit. The Bulls have the lead by 1.
Well, B.J. Armstrong is their best three-point shooter. Bulls, not a good three-point shooting team, but B.J. Armstrong right around 40%. Very deadly from there. And that's the short 3, the cupcake 3, a short 22 feet.
Almost stolen by Pippen. Rice steps up.
Pippen blocked that shot from behind. Made a nice second effort.
Oh, mercy. 42 for Michael.
Yeah, Kevin wants to talk to the troops. You just can't let him wade through there uncontested. It's not a good sign if he's not played at all. Not only should he be played, he should get a whole bunch of white shirts around him, or you're going to be looking at that.
And for the Dutch boy in the paint, Chicago out-rebounding Miami 38-33, but that's closer than the games have been previously. And Ronnie Cycley's been tough tonight. 12 rebounds, 20 points, 5 blocked shots. He has been a man in the middle. Let's talk about the team foul situation with 6:43 to go. The Bulls already in the penalty, the Heat only 2.
Well, you know, I talked earlier about the fact that in the fourth quarter, you'd like to get your team on the bonus as early as you can. The Miami Heat had an opportunity when they had the Craig Hodges, Kevin Edwards matchup to maybe get a couple of fouls by running a couple of isolations there. Now, I'm not saying they'd be in the bonus right now, but maybe they'd be one away from it. You certainly would like to have all of your fouls at this point in the game be tripped to the free throw line.
And Phoenix out by 11 now in the third quarter, hoping to eliminate San Antonio tonight. There's that Bulls pressure defense. Cycling with Coles. What a struggle just to get it across the timeline.
12 on the shot clock, haven't made an entry pass.
Now 8. Coles on the drive all the way. And the foul. Who would have figured the open lane to the hoop against the Chicago Bulls?
Well, quite honestly, on the weak side, Chicago just fell asleep. Bimbo Coles, nice little hesitation there, but no help side. Horace Grant stood and watched. So did Bill Cartwright.
Michael Jordan picked up his second personal, and Bimbo Coles, who, as I told you earlier in the game, practiced earlier this morning with a 100-degree temperature and has a very sore throat, but he's played big here tonight.
And Bimbo Coles, one of the hardest working members of the Miami Heat roster, showed that he's got a little something extra right now. 6:25 from the field in these playoffs.
9:96, 6 minutes to go in the game. Armstrong open. That was an excellent defensive run there.
Pat on the back to Kevin Edwards. Kevin Edwards leaped up with that leaping ability and caused B.J. Armstrong to rush the shot, causing it to go off the back of the iron.
Cycling. Misses down inside. Power move into the paint. He has 20 points tonight, but not this time. Tied at 96. Jordan in the paint. The turnaround spin move. Oh, mercy. He has 44.
Well, Kevin Edwards turned his head after he went up and got into the chest of Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan slipped by, and he was wide open in the lane.
Chicago by 2. Jordan with the steal. Pippen.
Michael Jordan just has wonderful anticipation. What he does, Bob, is he lays back and he shows you a distance. And you look and you say, he couldn't make up that distance. I can make that pass. And then he closes the gap in an extraordinary fashion, almost getting steals at will.
We have a timeout on the floor. The Bulls now lead it by 4, and Michael Jordan has been patrolling the defensive lanes all night long.
Michael Jordan's able to make the steal. What he does is he shows, I'm inside guarding the post. And he gives it a distance for Bimbo Coles to throw the ball inside to Glenn Rice. And Coles thinks, I can make that pass easily. No human being can make up that distance. Not.
Bulls by 4. 4:54 to go in the ball game. Defense's stand is needed by Miami. 8 to shoot. Jordan, 44 points in the game. 4, 3. With 2 to go, Jordan goes to the line. That's the third team foul on Miami. Coming up right after this one, the Portland Trail Blazers hoping to close out the Los Angeles Lakers. And let's look at San Antonio and Phoenix tonight. Phoenix also trying to advance in the second round. And it's a reasonably close game. 7-point lead in the third quarter.
That prediction's looking pretty bad right now. You got a difficult choice, Bob, when Michael Jordan has the ball with the shot clock running down. You can square up on him, and you know you're susceptible to the drive. You back off of him, he's hot from the perimeter. The only other choice you got is to send someone else and make another Bull player take the shot. I think the Miami Heat waited too long.
46 points for Jordan. 4:32 in the game, and the foul on Chicago with the pressure. The Bulls on a 6-0 run.
See, anytime a team presses you, you want to punish them for pressing you. Best way to punish them is to get the ball into the hands of your best ball handler, get a little water bug, or get your best player out there with the ball, break through the defense and break them down, and take little short shots at the other end. Little rhythm jumpers, finishing layups. Try to get out numbers at the other end if you can. But if you're going to just walk the ball up, play patty cake with it, you're at best going to be looking at a 14 number on the shot clock. Not good.
Big free throw miss here for Grant as the Bulls have taken a 6-point lead. The Miami Heat led this game by 17 in the first half. You've noticed that for most of the ball game, Cycli and Long have to play many minutes. They just don't have any depth that they can count on up front.
But give them some credit. They're playing full court pressure, trying to make some things happen, trying to maybe have someone else shoot the ball, but it's not working. This is too smart a basketball team.
The next 2-point field goal for Michael Jordan will give him 50. Bulls by 7. Shaw on the drive. Good ball fake and the reverse.
I think Brian Shaw, before it's all said and done, is going to be a welcome addition to the Miami Heat roster.
Jordan with the double team inside to Cartwright all alone. Grant sticks it back. Cycli gets his miss.
Well, not bad. A nice early double team saying, hey, we want someone else to shoot it.
Glenn Rice. That's a 2, and it's a 3-point game with 3:34 to go. The Heat not out of it yet. Chicago turnover.
Well, that was a tough choice for Scottie Pippen. He threw that long diagonal cross-courter to Horace Grant. Too high. Really should have put the ball in the hands of B.J. Armstrong. Tried to break down the press. The middle is wide open on the Miami press.
Steal by Grant. Pippen to Armstrong. And he'll go to the line as Shaw fouled it. This, by the way, is the first time the Miami Heat has ever scored over 100 points against Chicago.
Well, we talked about hustle points. We talked about offensive rebounds, and how about deflections and steals. Now it's just a matter of making a good choice at the other end. Yes, Michael Jordan. Double yes. Loves to see his teammates involved.
Has a luncheon appointment in Chicago tomorrow. Doesn't want to stay over if he can avoid it. Heat trying to make him miss that appointment. Bulls by 6. 3:11 to go in the game. Cycli sees that it's open and crosses the line himself. Smith. Cycli knocked it loose. Long down hard. He'll go to the line. That's on Cartwright.
Pretty quick shot by Steve Smith. A lot of time left in the ball game. No need to get too excited here. He didn't really have a good long look at it. Not really a good opportunity for any offensive rebounds on that box. I think he got just a little excited there.
Cartwright just got his 5th foul with 3 minutes to go in the game. Right after this one, out to Los Angeles, Trailblazers and the Lakers. And Long has hurt this team from the free throw line. I guess he's just exhausted. We saw the other night, I did the Boston-Indiana game, and Boston and Indiana missed 31 free throws, and they're the first and third best free throw shooting teams in the league. And Miami is right up there. They're tied for third in the league.
Third with Indiana, but it's a strange game that you play when you get into the playoffs. There's a little thing called Ms. Rudolph's monkey paw, and that puts a lot of pressure on you.
Bulls by 5. Pippen's pushed and misses the layup. That is he was in the act of shooting, but the Heat are now over the limit. Fourth quarter, San Antonio, Phoenix by 7. And Cycli now has 5 personal fouls. Scottie Pippen with 29, make it 30 points tonight. Michael Jordan with 48. I add that up to 78 points between the two.
Well, see, what you don't realize with this team is because they're so workmanlike, they do things in a calculated fashion. They are very, very precision-like in what they do. They are very unemotional. There's not a lot of French pastry on the things that they do. They play great defense. They create extra opportunities, extra possessions, and eventually it wears you down.
Just like that. Now 11 seconds on the shot clock for Miami. 2:38 to go in the game, and the Heat having trouble getting any kind of look at the basket at all.
If I were to say one thing to this Miami Heat team, as we see Glenn Rice,
that's a pretty good look,
find himself wide open for a nice, easy dunk.
It's only a 5-point lead with 2:32 to go, but the world champion Bulls have defended a lot of 5-point leads in 2.5 minutes.
I started to say, if I was going to say something to the Miami Heat, you know, you've had a great year, you've learned a lot of lessons, but understand this, if you ever want to sniff at an NBA championship, it's got to be done defensively.
Rice got a monster pick. He was just knocked loose by Grant. Big offensive board by Pippen. New shot clock for the Bulls, up by 5.
There's that wonderful leadership from Michael Jordan saying, let's eat some time up.
And I'll get the bucket in the paint.
And I'll make it half 100. Or as we used to say on the playground, half a rock.
Half a rock for Michael tonight. 111-104, 153 remaining in the game. Miami Heat came in here tonight for their first playoff game in their team's history. They believed they could win, and for 3 quarters, everybody in this building believed they could win. 6 on the shot clock from the foul.
There's the wonderful leadership of Michael Jordan telling his team what to do. Let's eat up a little clock here. Let's make sure we get a really good basket. And you know what, guys? I'll do it. Hello.
You know, with the 3-point shooting ability of this Miami Heat team, I'm not going to be the one to say it's over yet. Only 7 points down, 1:41 remaining.
Well, I look for Kevin Lockery to take this game out, to use his timeout, to set up his 3-point shot plays. He's got good 3-point shooters. Maybe play a little offense, defense. Do anything you can to take the game out. Try to stay in the game. Give yourself a chance to win down the stretch.
Cycling has made it a 5-point game with 1:41 to go.
Right now, it's Joe Bob. It's all about stops. They need a stop.
There's the trap. Got there very late.
So you want someone else to shoot the ball.
Pippen.
You don't want this guy to shoot it, and you don't want Michael to shoot it.
6 on the shot clock. Michael's going to shoot it. And drain it. 52 for Michael. 1:19 to go. Bulls by 7. Rice from 15 had the double clutch. Rice gets it back and gets the bounce. Still 5-point game. 1:06 remaining. Chicago with 3 timeouts and a 20, and Miami with only their 3 fulls remaining.
Major stop for the Miami Heat.
Loose ball foul, Chicago.
There it is. Major stop.
Oh my.
Full foul number 33, Scottie Pippen.
You're going to be begging us to stop here if the Lakers can put up some kind of heroic battle against the Blazers. Blazers up 2-0 in that series. That's right after this one. We go out to the West Coast. Pete Van Wieren, A.B. Brown have the game for you. And Long, who has struggled from the free throw line tonight, he's only 2 of 4 there.
See, right now, Kevin Lockery's got to be thinking, do I want to be in this trap? The Bulls have been able to handle the trap. Long has been devastating on the free throw line. It would have been a situation where if he'd have made his free throws, we might be looking at a small Miami Heat lead right now. But when they get to the other end, it's crucial to make someone else shoot the ball. Not Pippen, not Jordan.
Bulls by 4, 47 seconds. Armstrong and Grant had it 2-on-3. Armstrong now used some time and a quick whistle and the foul on Grant Long. That's his fourth. Long is simply exhausted.
You had 2, maybe 3 possessions left, Bob, and that's kind of an early foul there for such a good free throw shooter. He's almost a 90% free throw shooter. Maybe they'll throw the ball away. Maybe they'll miss a shot. Now you come down, score, hit a 2 or a 3. You have a 2 or a 1-point game. Instead, you're going to be looking at a bigger deficit.
Well, the Miami Heat, 40.9 seconds away from seeing their first trip to the playoffs end. Michael with a chat with Glenn Rice here saying this is how it goes in the playoffs, young man. Michael and Glenn Rice are bumping each other, and Michael sneaked in to the line.
Well, he really set up Steve Smith. He got in that little bumping match with him and got the inside position for that famous dive to the free throw line by Michael Jordan. Watch the veteran Michael Jordan set up the rookie Steve Smith. He's talking to him, chatting with him, making him forget about what his defensive assignment is. Now he says to the ref, all of this is a con job, because what Michael wants to do is take that free pass to the basket in case the free throw is missed. That's unbelievable. All the way to the end, he's working every single edge that he can get.
1:15-109 Bulls, 40.9 seconds remaining in this ball game. Well, the Miami Heat step ahead of the other expansion teams, Orlando, Charlotte, and Minnesota now, with their first trip to the playoff games. And Lockery said, of course, we wanted to get a playoff victory, but even being in the playoffs is certainly worth not getting in the lottery. He thought it was very important for this franchise.
I totally agree with him. There's nothing like the playoffs. They say there's 2 great times to coach in the NBA, playoffs and training camp.
Glenn Rice looking for the 3. That's a 2. He stepped on the line.
What a beautiful stroke. Challenge, but cover the backcourt. Everyone stood around celebrating.
Jordan has 54. Lockery gets timeout with 16 seconds left. Bulls by 6.
Ronnie Cycli's natural proclivity is to go to the boards. He's going to go to the boards. No one is going to cover the backcourt. Everyone goes to the boards. The basket goes in. Now they're kind of standing around celebrating. But what about Michael Jordan? Look at him all by himself. He looked like the lonesome end in football. Paid the price.
Michael Jordan, 54 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals. He had only 2 points in the first quarter and then some great balance. This crowd with a round of enthusiastic appreciation applause for the expansion Miami Heat.
Well, I'll say this. The NBA is alive and well and healthy in Miami.
And drains it. It's a 3-point game with 11.4 to go. They may have more than appreciation applause here with a turnover. The foul on Jordan from Long. With 9.5 to go. Now Steve Smith is chatting with Michael.
See, that's what we talk about when we talk about finishing a game, taking it out. You want to always try to take it all the way out, right to the last second, because what you do is you prepare yourself for games that you're going to pull out on occasion because you never quit. I really like the way the Miami Heat has hung in there. This crowd is so proud of this team right now. But the Chicago Bulls have the killer instinct.
Michael Jordan has made his last 12 free throws in this game. He's 15 of 17 from the line. 55 points. I was in Cleveland when Michael Jordan scored his career-high 69 last year.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Bob. I mean, it's been a quiet 55. I think I really mean that. It's been a very quiet 55.
I got to remember that. A quiet 55. Only Michael Jordan.
Reminds me of that. I can't drive 55, and how'd you get 55?
Well, it's about everything you can expect except a victory. And what this franchise will learn is after a couple of years, close won't be enough.
Well, I think they got to be very proud of what they did today. Most people didn't expect this.
119-114, 9.5 seconds remaining in the game. The Miami Heat, when they started their franchise, decided to build through the draft. 8.6 left, instead of trading draft choices to get some veteran players and win more early. Charlotte went that way. Miami went with the draft, and they are the first team in the fourth quarter.
Well, you know, you pay the price on the front end or you pay it on the back end, and they decided to pay it on the front end. They went 0 for 17 in their first 17 games. That was a tough sting.
Grant Long threw up the prayer, and the Miami Heat's first trip to the playoff.
Give them a lot of credit, Bob. They hung in there. They gave us a basketball game.
Bulls win it by 5 behind a quiet 56 from Jordan.